I guess you could say I was a stay-at-home wife for a little while. We weren't legally married, but we were together for a long time, for a few years. I was working when we met. I was continuing to work. Pandemic came, I lost my job. I wasn't required to go back to work. I could pretty much just like be in the house, things like that. I didn't really have to think about it too much. I decided to leave that relationship because I felt like there was nothing wrong necessarily with it, but I felt like I wasn't growing in it. My goals aren't necessarily to be a housewife. I don't necessarily see myself having children. I don't see myself being a mom and just being stuck in the house. For me, I don't think I could just be limited to just being a housewife.
So a lot of people say you had a good man, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll never take that away.
And you left this good man. So what are you hoping to find? Because obviously the next person you date gonna have to meet that standard,
Sometimes when you're in those type of relationships, when you're in that role, that's just like all they want you to that's all they want you to do. And to me, I just didn't want to do it anymore.
You want to be treated like the queen, but still do what you want to do in between.
But here's my thing, right? And maybe
in life, you can't satisfy somebody when they're not even satisfied with themselves. So like, I ain't gonna lie, I don't know what girls want in a man nowadays sometimes. Because what you're saying here, like in that video clip, she said that he was a good man. He did all the work. I mean, he paid all the bills. I was a stay-at-home mom. I had to cook and I had to clean, and that just wasn't good enough for me. So I decided to leave, even though he was a good man. Like, sometimes I feel like women, well, not even just women, I think people in general, they walk around like some big-ass kids thinking that life is just some damn video game. You mean to sit here and tell me that you had a man who did everything right, basically? For the most part, he did everything right. Not saying he's perfect, but you had a man paying all the bills, and you wasn't responsible for paying nothing, and you decided to leave because you was only cooking and cleaning, and that's all you had to offer. That's what it sounded like to me when she was saying that. Like, if you wanted to leave, if you wanted to go get a job to bring in some money for yourself, that's perfectly fine. I understand that. But the answer is not to leave. So when men, like guys who want to get married or be in a relationship or whatever, when they want to get settled down and they see video clips like this, in their mind, they're saying to themselves, damn, so if his best wasn't good enough, how is my best good enough? And this reminds me of a conversation I was having last night, actually, because I took a chick out, and I asked her, when was your last relationship and how long was it? And she said, I just got out of a 4-year relationship. So she got out of a 4-year relationship a year or two ago, and that's what she was telling me. So I asked her, like, well, why did things end? And what she told me was, well, he was a good guy, It's just that, he could have did a little more. It just, his best wasn't really good enough. How was his best not good enough, but you was with him for 4 years? That's almost half a decade. So if his best wasn't really good enough, why was you with him for that long? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, women think life is just a big ass sale, and they think that every man is supposed to be perfect, and if they're not perfect, then they should probably think about leaving. That's kind of their mindset. They always think that no matter how good their man is right now, there will always be something better. Life is not Disney Channel. People can't always be replaced. That's the main thing I want y'all to get from this video. People cannot always be replaced. Some people are just not replaceable like that. They're not. And you can't replace a man who was basically letting you not work, and he was paying all the bills, and you wasn't responsible for paying any of the bills. You can't replace guys like that, man. Like, the world is so expensive today. Like, listen, I live in New York and things are expensive. It's expensive in New York. It's expensive in Cali. Atlanta's getting a little higher. Certain spots in Florida is getting higher. The cost of living is going up. So finding a guy that is willing to pay damn near all the bills, and you're not responsible for paying any bills at all, I don't know how, I don't know why a woman would even walk away from a situation like that. And the sad thing is, when she gets older and she's truly honest with herself, she's going to regret that decision. She's really going to regret that decision. There's no way that you can replace a guy who's paying the majority of bills. And, in some situations, a woman has to share the bills with the guy that they're with. But, she's sitting here talking about, I just wasn't really satisfied with myself. And that's why I kind of decided to leave, even though he was a good guy. In my opinion, you know what I think? I think this guy dodged a bullet. You know, good thing he didn't marry her. That's how I see it. Because there's nothing worse than being with a person who doesn't appreciate what you're doing. That's my biggest takeaway. So, you know, it's not really the end of the world for him. I think he dodged a bullet. The only thing is that maybe he'll just have to, you know, he probably was heartbroken, maybe. You know, maybe he was had to get out the dumps real quick. You know, he's probably, you know, his heart was hurting for a couple months. But outside of that, I think he'll be fine. I think it's always good. There's nothing worse that you can do in life is to be with someone who doesn't really appreciate you. That goes for women, family members, and even friends, or even a job that you work at. You wonder why most people don't like their lives or they're always miserable every day? Because they're at jobs where their boss is making their life a fucking living hell. Yeah, exactly. Like every time they go there, they know that their boss is gonna annoy them, and they're probably gonna treat them like shit. That's why most people are always miserable every time they wake up. Every time they wake up or they're on their way to work, they know their life is gonna suck for 8 hours a day. Because they know, or they feel that in their mind that their boss doesn't appreciate them like that. Or maybe they have to deal with some coworkers that they don't like. Or maybe they're in a relationship where they're the person they're with is not appreciating them. That's probably the worst thing that you can do to yourself as a human being, is to be with someone that doesn't appreciate you. Anytime you're in a situation like that, you're better off just leaving. So with this guy right here, he dodged a bullet. And as for her, listen, yeah, she's gonna regret this badly. I don't know why so many women want to leave relationships, and they always think that they can do better. I'm not saying guys are perfect, but there's no way you can sit there and tell me that you're gonna replace a guy, like his quality of work, and you was with him for 4 years. I don't know how you can replace that, you know. But tell me what you guys think. Like, comment, subscribe. Yeah, and this goes for, and it's not even just a women thing. This is a people thing. People are not always replaceable like that. Learn how to treat people a little better and appreciate them while they're still here. I'm out.